Frustration was evident there, Henry, just as he looked there, because you want to get off in that first leg. But that's disappointing. As many people know on my commentary, my pet hate is hitting big numbers. It's just a little bit sloppy, and that is just not acceptable. For someone as good as Mike Warburton, it's very early on a Monday, so they're the sort of defence. But I'm a big believer that just hitting big numbers is an absolute must. Because they probably have there, Henry, you're thinking of the double already. And Mark Borelli was in total control of this leg. I think he'd be surprised to be back. But back he is, and right in the double four there. I think he deserved to win that leg on merit there.
Mike require 81.
Just have a little look at the score. No, Mark Borelli's on 95 there, so he will be considering the bullseye with his last stab. He doesn't need it for 2 darts at double 12. And that's as absolute as smooth as silk. And the frustration of missing that big 9 in the previous leg is now forgotten. Warburton's hands now. He's going to have 3 darts for this first game.
The ironic shake of the head and to think, where was that before? But it has piled the pressure on Wolverton, who for the second straight leg has left double 12 after 12. But that slips in the 5. And so that means now it's only going to be the solitary dart at double 8. 16. And it goes inside. And so that maximum may have meant something for Mark Borelli.
Yes, in leg 1, missed darts at the big number cost Warburton. Is it going to cost him in the last one? They are awkward. He's having to move right to the left. You can only see the top part of the bed. What a stunning dart. And what an exciting match that was. The full 7 legs, the big 4-3, seesaw up and down. But it's Mark Borelli who takes the 2 points. A big statement from it. And look at the stats there. If you looked at that, Mike Warburton's the big winner, just shy of 90. Mark Borelli just over 80. But the big points go to Mark Borelli. The Scot is up and running. And it's an all-Belgium affair next with John Desmo against Sven for Donk.
You require 80.
Do it in this turn.
It's been a very comprehensive performance from John Desmo. Can he execute this tops?
60.
Just a little bit snatchy there, but still a big ass, this 1-3-3. That leaves 76. Part of me was thinking him going that way. He was going to look at 2 double 19s. And you can see John Desmond going through his process now.
79.
And standing there with 3 darts at double 10. And again, he hasn't looked like missing.
It's a beat for third 16 dart leg. That was his worst leg to the match. 3 16s and a 15, a 4-0 win. And John Desmo has announced himself on the Super Series stage, beating Sven for Donk by 4 legs to 0. Doing so with 95 average, 4 out of 7 when it came to the doubles. There's not much not to like about that performance there from John Desmo. Right, we're going to take a short break. When we return, is going to be the debut of Jeremy Fack at the Super Series. The Aussie superstar takes on the reigning World Seniors champion, Robert Thornton.
I'm sure Robert was a big favourite for this one, but Jeremy's probably not the guy you probably want to play first. He'd be excited to be here as he looks at treble 20. And for tops, for a delightful 1-1-9 and 15 darter. That is absolutely superb. Robert Thornton now knows he's in a game. Angry, steaming.
48.
But you're not the only one, Robert, this morning.
Oh, Robert. Oh, yes. It's a 3-0 lead for the debutant Jeremy Fack. And what a good day it's turning out to be for some of the debutants thus far.
I'm no more ooh-ah-ee-ooh-ah. This is lovely. I like the bull on the last dart, but when you can hit treble 20s like that, 180, 140, 140, it's such a great feeling.
90. Robert Jaguar, 41.
3-2, and to really turn this game on its head. For 12. Excellent from Robert Thornton, and he's beginning to turn the screw. Jeremy has been, well, he's been streamlined consistent throughout, but Thornton is just beginning to up the level a little bit. Really inclined.
95.
Really inclined since going 3-0 down. Double 19. Jeremy's not on a finish. Not that it matters for Thornton. That's a 15 on the back of the 12 in the previous leg, and from 3-0 down, he brings it back to 3 apiece. Legs of 16, 12 and 15 have turned the screw in this game. Turnaround victory.
20.
Sometimes it's about tenacity, and that's exactly what Robert Thornton's about. From 3-0 down, Robert Thornton takes a big 2 points for a 4-3 win over the dejected-looking Jeremy Fack. Will be thinking, what have I just done? The tail of the tape tells you that Robert Thornton just got better and better as the match went on. Just shy of the 93 average, 50% on the outer ring. A superb performance from the Scot. For Jeremy Fack, that could be just a tough one to take. Next up, Mike Warburton against John Desmo. With that, you've got to think that Mike Warburton has a real opportunity to break now. So 1 or 2, like you see, he'll stay straight. So his options, bulled up treble 14. What a dart that is for tops. And what a finish that is, Mike Wolverton. That is absolutely beautiful. A 16 darter, a 15 darter, 100 plus finish. Any worries about that first game lingering in his mind? For me, has been put to bed straight away. The goal.
Hail Mary time. Tops.
Game shot on the 5th
How
leg.
good is he when he is 1 dart in hand?
It becomes very difficult, and potentially a last dart at the bull.
And suddenly it feels like Warburton's on the back foot. It's going to be a dart at the bull for the match for Mike Warburton. And he gets it. And he beats John Desmo by 4 legs to 2. And Warburton, pumped up as ever, is here to compete, is here to win, and to get back to Champions Week like he did last time out. Averages of 89 now, followed by a 90. 4 out of 7 on the doubles, a 102 high checkout. This is really solid stuff from Mike Warburton. That's for John Desmo. He had an 87.6, 2 out of 4 on the doubles. These two could be some key players and contenders in this Group A, that is for sure. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we return, the ultimate contender, Robert Thornton in action, up against Mark Borelli.
96 points away from a big, big victory. You'll stay there for double 8. And that is a solid performance. He shakes his head, but I can promise you'll be absolutely delighted for 2 reasons. 1, to beat the fantastic Robert Thornton, and 2, a big statement, a 4-0 victory, averaging over 90, just shy of 93. Very good on the outer ring again. Mark Borelli was not getting the headlines, but he certainly started off with real aplomb, and that was fantastic dart. For Robert Thornton, that's a bit of a head-scratcher. It's the next game up, 2 players on 0 points, a big game for these two. It's Jeremy Fack against Sven Donk.
Jeremy require 170.
The fish doesn't have to go for it, but why not? Why not? Why not? Oh, it wasn't too far away.
What's on the back of the shirt there? Is it? It looks like a frog, is it?
Looks like a crocodile.
Oh, is it a crocodile? I don't like players who have nicknames like Jezza and Muzza and Duzza. Just
59.
Show some imagination, Jeremy.
25.
Boing, boing, Duzza, right?
You stop picking on me today, you. The 3-1.
Shot on the 4th leg.
The Australian is taking firm control of this match right now. Hit.
Should be 1 at tops. Here's going to be 1 at tops.
Game shot on the 5th leg.
Gets the dart at tops.
Jeremy require 40.
And Jeremy will absolutely be delighted, and I'll put my reputation on the line and say this goes.
Game shot.
And go it does. This Jeremy Fack. It was a bit of a grueler, but it's 4-2 to Jeremy Fack. It's such a disappointing opening game. He'd be delighted to get the 2 points on the board. Sven Donk won't want to remind himself of that first leg of that game there, and he had his own trials and tribulations throughout there. But it's the Australian that takes the much needed 2 points. And after the break, there'll be 2 big hitters in Mike Warburton and Robert Thornton. Series or any competition. Double 8 for Warby.
Now 2 4s.
Game shot on the
3-1. Break your third coup for Warburton.
Yeah, he just put his third dart into his hand as if he was to throw it. And usually what that means is that when you've let go of it, you're not so sure whether it's in. A little bit better board management from Mike.
Climbing the ladder.
This is from nowhere.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
That's Robert Thornton in 3 darts there. Last dart was still a little bit sloppy. And his 2 darts and his beloved double 16.
Game shot.
And his 4-3 to Mike Warburton in a match that didn't have the sparks, it didn't have the fireworks we predicted. But it's a massive 2 points for the Welshman. Mike Warburton has played 3 and he's on 4 points. He'd be happy so far with that. For Robert Thornton, it's been such an indifferent start to the day. He's be head scratching backstage. Just that 120 being the highlight from him. But it's Mike Warburton and Mark Borelli are really kicking in so far. And next up we have the guy who came out the traps very quickly, John Desmo, against a guy who'll be feeling really nice about himself, Jeremy Fack. That game is up next after this short break.
Jeremy require 126.
Yeah, but you won that competition.
Never thought about it. He'll stay there for double 6. He's already hit it once. Stunning finish.
On the second leg,
absolutely beautiful. And the highest finish of the day so far.
Jeremy require 128.
Trouble for the ball. Bullseye it is for a 3-0 lead and the breaker throw. Oh, that's beautiful. The double breaker crew for Jeremy Fack, and he's a leg away from a 4-0 win against John Desmo.
Victory
require 40.
Has many connotations when you have a big whitewash win. It's demolition time for Jeremy Fack. A big 4-0 victory, a big statement he makes. John Desmond's all gone a little bit wrong since that fantastic opening victory. The Aussie is on the charge. That was impressive. Just shy of the 90 average, but I really like the checkout ratio. 4 from 7, and that silky 1-8 finish. Very, very nice. He'll be feeling very, very good about himself, will Jeremy Fack right now. Big, big moments for him. And next up, it's top of the table, Mark Borelli against bottom of the table, Sven Donk. That's up after this short break. Now it's Mark Borelli. He's just began to find that little bit of zone. Sven Donk, 2 opportunities here. Perfect. So 6 of the 10. Keep it simple. That's for double 18 this time. It just felt that was a really important part of the match because Mark Borelli was just showing signs. That's nice. That's nice, man. That's telling me the anger from Mark in his head is gone now. He's seen it more clear. Plays good. How is the execution, Sven Donk? At times, it was an absolute grueler for the players, but for Sven Donk, look at the delight. He needs some confidence, he needs some rhythm, but what he needed more than anything was 2 points. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that. And look at the sportsmanship from Marbury. So magnanimous in defeat, and he'll be frustrated because he's done a lot of the hard work going into that game. This group is just getting tighter and tighter. No one's putting their head above the parapet. Will it start with the next game with Robert Thornton against John Desmo? It's treble 19. He doesn't need the ball.
79.
And I can assure you he went for it.
Desmo can only hit and hope. Well, there's a hit.
98.
Now he's got to hope that Thornton doesn't take out the 33. And so it's going to be 17 for double 8.
Game
to seal a 4-2 success, and the Fawn doubles up his points tally. 2-2 his record for the day so far, condemning John Desmo after a positive start to proceedings to a 3rd defeat on the spin. Thornton winning with an 81.7 average and 4 out of 12 when it came to the finishing, and so the Fawn is on 4 points and will be hoping to finish the day strongly. We're going to take a short break. When we return, Sven Donk takes on Mike Warburton.
And I don't think Mike did.
Sven, you require 60.
And so to cut the gap in half. Should be 2 at tops. Cool, that was precariously low. That's a nice guide. And that's in.
On the 3rd leg, Sven Donk.
That's 2-1. That's the deficit cut in half, but Wolverton will have the darts here. to extend his lead back to 2.
Straight, keep it simple. Trebles nice. 20 is a must. What that does now, give you a big opportunity between that 8 and 16. He shouldn't be missing that huge target. Nearly did. For a dart at tops.
28.
I tell you what, that was close.
Mike, you require 82.
And for Mike, a minimum of the 25. And Bull is the bonus.
So 82 for the match for Mike Warburton. Bullseye is what he went for. And so it's going to be one dart at tops, which comes and goes for Warburton.
40.
And the Donk returns to the same target.
Game shot on the 5th leg. Sven
And in it
Verdonk.
goes. And it's 3-2. And he is still within this fight.
5 again, but that's sensible. But a dart at the Bull.
32.
Oh, wow.
Sven, you require 52.
And we talked about how good Sven is at board management and scoring. I think that showed you that Mike there had a real moment.
Must have thought he had 55 left at that point. Tots of a Donk. To Morelli, punish.
Game shot
A
the 6th
punish he
leg.
will.
Sven Verdonk.
To the hilt. And it's hill between the Donk and Warburton. And will that miscount for Warburton cost him dearly?
7th.
He's going straight for it, it looks like. 2 left in hand. 1 left. And he busts the score!
No score.
It goes the other side! And so Warburton is
Mike, you
reprieved!
require 18.
Well, this match has had absolutely everything you're going to see in a 7-darter. Swings and roundabouts, ups and downs, trials and
Game
tribulations,
shot.
but it's
And
Mike
that's
Warburton
Mike
with that
Warburton.
fist pump at the end. It was all about the 2 points and how big will those 2 points be. Sven Verdonk will be absolutely kicking himself because that 180 in that last leg I thought was just the deciding factor. For Warby just did enough. It was a battle that neither player liked that outer ring, but it's Warby with a big 2 points. And next up it's Jeremy Fack against Mark Borelli.
85.
And I just wonder with Jeremy Fack whether the
104.
fact he's had a slightly longer break may have helped him feel like a game between tournaments as he looks to open up with a 104 finish here. Tops is what he wants for a ton topper to
Game shot on
start.
the 1st leg.
Absolutely
Jeremy Fack.
excellent from Jeremy Fack. Beginning of a ton topper.
It's already today. Can still do it. For the Bull.
Game shot on the
That
4th
camera
leg.
angle tells you
Jeremy
that is
Fack.
smack bang in the middle. And look at that. That's what I like about Mark Borelli. Sportsmanship at its finest.
26.
Because there may only be 1 dart at double. Well, in fact, it's going to be 1 dart at the Bull to save the match.
Game shot on the 5th leg.
Match
Mark
saver for Mark Borelli.
Mark, you
Doesn't
require
go.
24.
And so Borelli to take us to the hill again. 1 more in hand.
No
Doesn't
score.
go. And so Jeremy Fack has an
Jeremy, you
opportunity at
require
double 6
12.
to move on to 6 points and to move top of the group. Just a slight movement across.
Game.
And
shot.
that match-winning
And
double
that's
is found, and Jeremy
Fack.
Fack goes top of the table. If only temporarily, he beats Mark Borelli by 4 legs to 2, which means him and Mike Wolverton are going to set up a clash in the final game of the session to see who is going to be the table topper overnight. As for that game, an 84.23 average, 4 out of 13 on the doubles, and 2-ton plus checkouts. He's done that in 2 consecutive games now, has the Australian ADC ace. Right, we're going to take a short break. When we return, Sven Verdonk takes on Robert Thornton.
Trying to get his rhythm. He's trying to get his balance right.
Game shot on the 4th leg.
Fantastic
Robert
darts there from
Thornton.
Robert Thornton. He's just gesticulating, waving about. And like I said, if he could, my advice if he's watching back is in the practice area, just try and speed up that. His second and third dart is the Sven Verdonk I remember. But that first dart is 5 seconds slower than I remember of him.
is this the move for Thornton now?
A 9 darter would be nice, because it's normally at this point where you start laying it up.
100.
So see if it's any chance I can do it. Come on, Robert. Ooh-ee-ooh-ah-ah. Wabba-dabba-bing-bong.
The 9 darter is on.
Easy.
Thornton could be 3 darts away from the crowning glory. Can the fawn sting the donk? With a 9 dart leg to finish.
Look at the focus and concentration on Robert
43.
Thornton
Robert
there.
require
Something that's been missing today.
141.
It's been a rubbish day for Robert Thornton. And I think a lot of us felt at that point there that that 141 was coming.
He's still on the 9. He's still on the 9. That would have been ironic, wouldn't it? If he was on a 9 and then scored 9.
Look at that top part of the double 10. I felt that was a better angle of going in, but just crashed into the other tungsten. It's advantage to Thornton.
5.
It's all about the big number. It's been a day of missed big numbers today. Not this time. And not this time for Robert Thornton. He gets through. 4-1 against Sven, who's got a lot of work to do overnight. It's been a tough day for the Belgian. For Robert Thornton, nowhere near his best. Well below par. But he still finishes on 6 points. And mark those words for the end of the week. A tough Monday for Robert Thornton, but gets through the match 4-1. And next up, it's Mark Borelli against John Desmond.
And that could be very, very messy now if Desmond doesn't take out this 84 for the break. 14. And the bull for the killer bee. Oh, that's a killer bullseye from the killer bee. And so 72 for 2-0 lead for Jeremy Fack upon his return to back the break up with a hold.
30.
And to really stamp his authority on this game. Just the other side of the treble 16. That's treble 7, so 21 scored. Which means it's going to be 1 dart, a double 16 for a 2-0 lead. And there it is. 2 out of 2 on the doubles. Ruthless in those kind of combinations is Jeremy Fack. It's going to be a third combination finish on the spin for Jeremy Fack here for the double break. And to put himself on the brink. He should get a dart himself.
So good when it's a 100-plus finish. It's been his forte today.
Game shot the third leg.
There's the obligatory fist pump once again, and that will hurt.
Again for Jeremy Fack to get over the finishing line. Double 8 again.
Game shot.
To go top of the pile following his first day's exploits here at the Super Series. Double 8 makes it 8 points for Jeremy Fack, who beats Mike Warburton by 4 legs to 0, averaging 84.68, 50% when it came to the finishing, the 114, the high checkout in and amongst it. It's been a superb day for the Australian debutant. As for Mike Wolverton, he's going to join Robert Thornton in the 3-win club. Right, let's reflect on everything that we've seen throughout the course of today, up on the balcony where Chris Murphy is with Glenn Durrant.
Thanks very much, Henry. Yeah, Glenn, well, you mentioned it when I asked you halfway through the day, or even earlier than that, who impressed you the most, Jeremy Fack, and it turns out that he was the best player.
Oh, I'm good.
Well, he's good, isn't he?
He's very good. He was the class act today, and we didn't know an awful lot about him. But you know, if you'd done your homework, you could see he was a quality player, and he demonstrated his real qualities after a difficult start.
Well, let's get final confirmation of the table after day 1 in the group. He wins 4 out of his 5 matches after that shootout with Mike Warburton and how well he played in it. Robert Thornton, I mean, you and Henry have been saying it's been a bad day for Robert, but looking at it, it's 2 points off top.
And that just tells you how good the guy is. I mean, he is the class act. His CV is as good as anybody's there, and he'll be going back thinking, I cannot play that bad tomorrow or Wednesday. He's still very much in the mix.
And as for Sven, look, much has been made about the pace of play. You demonstrated during comms in one of his matches, he threw some of his darts quicker, and he seemed to be better when he did.
Yeah, only the first dart. I mean, I think his second and third is how I know Sven to be, but his first dart was taking an age, and when it takes an age, and boy do I know that, that's when things are going through your mind. You start thinking technically. I think he can correct it. He's here this week to work on his rhythm and work on his plan of his attack, and maybe that's where I would start.
Jeremy to win the group, or do you think he's got some rivals here?
No, Jeremy to win the group. I don't think he's the type of player I think is going to panic, but Robert Thornton is a real juggernaut when he gets going.
Well, let's see if he can get going. The action returns tomorrow, same time, 9:30 a.m, but exclusively on the Modus Super Series YouTube channel, and then back for the deciding day of the group on Wednesday here on Sporty Stuff TV. We will see you then.